the topic today is how do we modernize? I know that we stopped saying words like digital transformation, so I won't use it. And thank God the topic is modernizing a legacy platform. I'll start first by showing what liberty is. Okay, so I wanted to start this this mini story saying that what I showed you is what Liberty Europe is and what we embarked on. And just for contextual perspective, we are 4 countries and we have technology everywhere. And we came together, what we call the market, and embarked on how do we modernize our legacy. And that's the story I'm going to tell you. Obviously, in here, there's several things that have been achieved while we embarked in this amazing journey. And I'll just say, because it's going to connect to the journey, the top left corner, you know, being nominated in the 4 countries, a great place to work in 2020, 2021 is for us a very proud moment because it's about our employees. So starting with the why, and the why is what grounds us more, is we need to know why we want to modernize. So there was several asks, you know, being fully digital, simplify, become easy to interact with, which is a dream for every company. Enable innovation that we don't know where is coming, how is coming, when is coming. So that was a powerful ask. Ensure scalability, modularity, fast time to market, fast time to value, being very consumption based, and make sure we don't modernize to then further down the line have those moments where we need to refresh. So we had this stream of what if we always were up to date? So that was the why. How did we do this? So we decided to build a new digital ecosystem, completely new on the side, where we took some you know, critical decisions of we have to have a product pricing capability state of the art, because that's where we differentiate, that's our products and service. We have to have modularity, you know, pick and choose whatever you want. Completely cloud-based, so completely public cloud-based. There's no data centers in Europe. It had to be 100% API driven. No connections to the current. And I'll reinforce this one. No connections. Not even the smallest one. And you can now imagine the amount of pain that brings. But that was and is something, it's kind of a principle. A greenfield approach, you know, very thinking new. let's not chase the state-of-the-art solutions for everything. Let's go for the next level. Let's go for something that will allow us to do the business, but it can grow with us. We don't need all those bells and whistles. We think we do, but then time tells us that sometimes we don't. Out of the box, if we decide to buy a solution, to consume a solution, we have to leverage it. And if that is not adequate, we'll change it. It's modular. Business processes are the ones that came with this out of the box. We have to have data supporting all this ecosystem, which we do. And we decided, okay, so we give it to someone else to manage the existing, because we need to focus on this more than ever. What about the journey? I really like this quote, because I can tell you, and many of you will know, if you believe, it's halfway. So, but the journey brings challenges. For a company that is operating under this great liberty mutual, but specifically in Europe, is in 4 countries, there are cultural challenges. There are complete change of processes and technology, complete. Imagine anything end to end for any insurance process, it will change. So that comes with a pain. People mindset. It's painful for a human being to change. And we see this in this journey. It's very painful. Not because people don't want, it's just because it's painful. It's difficult. We go from expert on something to very basic on something. And that is very challenging to overcome. The MVP approach, how many of you feel this MVP is wonderful, but the business sometimes, and even the technology, they get, frustration because, when are we going to have that thing that we really want? It's not easy to capture. We'll evolve and we'll stop in the moment that is different from the one we thought before, because the world is completely changing every day. This iterative prototyping, let's put it in practice and then let's iterate. There will be always business pressure, either from the markets, from the competition, either internally. The duration is a challenge. There's lots of frustration for A, B, C, D. It doesn't matter. We have to build this resilience. There's lots of opinions. Everyone has an opinion. Oh, I think we should. Oh, I think. So we need to be able to manage this. We will find issues, and it's a tremendous test for an organization. It's a tremendous stress test. If we go through this, we'll go through anything. What were the principles? And the principles were foundational. We will do this incrementally, and we will use an agile mindset. We clearly acknowledge that different people value different things. They doesn't mean that they disagree with whatever. It's that they value more customer, others value more efficiency, others value more society. There's so many different values, perspectives, so we need to bring them in. But let's not try to make them all value the same, because that won't work. We have to more than ever be an active listener. And it's not only listening managers. I would say it's more listening the people that do the work every day, that are picking a call from a customer, that are managing a claim, that everyone has a good view of what is really needed. So active listening and collaboration is key. We need to make sure that we bring our people, our employees to this journey. Not in addition, we'll bring them. No. They're the ones They are the ones that do this, no one else's. It doesn't mean that we won't have support, but it's not the other way around. Massive reskilling and upskilling, because people that are doing things 10, 15, 20 years in something, and then you have to change to do something different in a different way, in a different technology, in a different process. They need to learn. And we need to acknowledge that, yes, there are a ramp up period. Very light but effective risk management, because this transformation brings risks acceptance, but we need to know what risks we're taking and accept them, monitor them, evaluate them, and move on, not as blocker but as an enabler. This doesn't mean that prior experience are not good. All experience are useful, but we cannot apply the same medicine that we applied 10 years ago or 5 years ago and expect the same result. So use experience, but have more focus on initiative, on willingness, on bravery, on risk-taking, on, I don't know how this is going to play out, but it seems a good idea. Let's go for it. Be brave. We have to be very brave. And be supportive. And this is for managers, leaders, senior leaders. We have to be super supportive, and we need to give the accountability to teams to make it happen. And we'll fix what doesn't go right. We'll fix what can be fixed. We'll change what needs to be changed, but we delegate, because this cannot be achieved by an umbrella of a few folks. It is achieved by the organization moving to the same place. So this takes me to leadership. You must have a complete alignment, dedication, support from the senior leadership. There's no other way, because this is so painful, as I mentioned before, that only on an immovable, supported team that, yes, it's a pain. What can we do to change it, to improve it? Let's go for it. Yes, oh, this didn't go well. That's fine. Test and learn. Common goal. Regardless who you talk to, everyone knows the goal. Everyone knows what it is. It's very clear. More than ever, we need to lead by example. We need to be super transparent. Yeah, we have problems. And this is the problem. I don't know the solution, but I'll figure it out. In one day, I hope I have it. This is the level of transparency. Let's not go old school. Oh, I'll figure it out, and then I'll say, we had a problem, but we solved it. No. Architects, security, they have to be fully dedicated, fully engaged, like anyone. But these roles are critical. And I'm talking about business architect, I'm talking about technical architect, I'm talking about security that goes beyond what level of defense we're applying. No, looking at it in an holistic way. Because this is a cloud consumption base, we have to have architects, cloud engineers that are constantly, seeing what else we need to do. Releasing, everyone knows stories of big companies out there that have done an amazing job on releasing things every day, every hour. But it's not easy. So let's put in the agenda that we need to have that under control, forward thinking, innovative, and we have to deliver with quality. Quality is non-negotiable. That doesn't mean that MVP 1 is poorer than MVP 2, but it means that we're always aiming for good quality. For me, this is one of the most important aspects. We rush for everything. We know that we have to have thinking time, but then, what? You're going to spend 2 days thinking about that? Oh, come on. Can't we go directly to execution? No. We need to have imagining time. Because if we want to fulfill the ask of being innovation ready, being ready for the future, you have to imagine what the future will look like. So you need to find that time, engage with the right people, allow them to think, not forgetting that it's not like spending weeks or months thinking about it. No, let's take a couple of days to forward think. Out of that comes actions, go off and do it. Put that framework in place. Experiment. We cannot be ready if we don't experiment. And experiment, like the word says, it means I don't know the outcome. I guess the outcome, but I don't know the outcome. So let's not make experiments so solid that take so long, because they need to be the real thing. So put the experiment mindset in place. Collaboration I've spoke about. Let's do imagining not only with a few set of people, the architects, the product owners, the managers, the product managers. No, just bring people from all levels, from all teams to, they have the right way of thinking, the way of imagining. Bring them in, make this enlarge the vision. Always be consequential, because it's about the results as well. So we cannot be wondering and not delivering. And the last one, avoid following a methodology that tells you that if you are thinking agile and you're applying the product increments, the program increments, and you're doing sprints, oh yes, we have a ceremony of retrospective, and then they become just another check in the box. No, practice real retrospectives. Bring the actions to improve the next day. It doesn't mean that you're going to improve everything, but just build that mechanic. Because if we want to get better, we need to learn from the things that we don't do, as well as we would like. So what's next? The next is very ambitious. So having, all kinds of ability to plug, because everything is API driven, it's pluggable, whatever, use and consume. I can give you that in this modernization, we've replaced core components that were unimaginable in the past, and we replaced it in a couple of sprints. It is challenging, but it's possible. You just have to have the right architecture. Data. Everyone says data is the new oil. Yes, data is around for many years, and it was oil before. Now the thing is, we have technologies that allow us to leverage that, but you have to have a sane architecture that actually enables that. So we think that that's in place. Cloud is the only way for us not to be limited. And yes, there's a sense of security. But I want to say that if we, as any organization, think that we have enough resources, enough knowledge, enough time to prevent or to increase the level of security, we can only be mistaken. Because the cloud providers, they do this every day, hundreds of people. So we need to, yes, have the right frameworks, methodologies, controls, all of that. But for us, cloud is the only way to be elastic, scalable. And in somehow, I know this is contradictory for many people, is like predictive. We can be predictive because we know how much increases what based on whatever we grow or reduce. So the level of predictability is very high. And last, there's a number of technologies that can leverage, data, but you have to have the right architecture. And I'm almost finishing to say that this is what our customers, providers, and partners, because insurance, the value chain is very big. They want better, simpler, faster. And they cannot be precise. Oh, I want this way, this time, this manner. No. So we need to build this future, not having those boundaries. And to finalize, it's all about the people. It's all about the teams, the engagement, the willingness to leave the business in a better shape than we found them. Is about interacting, collaborating, but it's all about people. So let's not go the easy way. Well, the perceived easy way, which is put some technology in place. And by the way, do some RFP to pick the right one and commit that right one is going to be there for 20 years. There's no such thing anymore. We commit for 2 years, 3 years. Then the world will change and things will have to change. And if we manage to keep this constant up-to-date mentality, we will be always there as things change. But at the end, you can only achieve a modernization with people. Take them in the journey. Tell them that we don't know all the answers, but we'll figure out together. And with this, I don't know if there's any room for any questions.
So a question from John. Could we get some practical examples of product risk management from you?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. So one of the things that we've done, like we iterated, I think we are in version 3 of what is this matrix that assess risks. So the normal matrices are based on risk exposure and then impacts. What we've done is we've made it in a way that risks are pushed to the foundation of the organization, to the squads. They have to manage the risk. They cannot only share the risk and say, oh, we are exposing this risk, therefore someone, God knows where, is going to accept it. So what we've done is made it in a way that risks are the day-to-day. So people identify, for instance, we're going to do MVP 2 of a certain capability. And that capability is short. It's not automated, has some manual workarounds. So when the customer call, I need to do something in the screen. I need to send an email to someone because it's MVP2. And that is a big operational risk because what about the controls and all of that? Yes. So we accept those risks because we then know that as we do next program increments, we're going to prioritize what's missing there because it's really more important. So as you build in the risk management in the framework of prioritization and execution, you bring in risk to the day-to-day and not just something you have to fill in and show in every month and say, oh, this risk has to be extended, blah, blah. So that's the way we do it.
So it's also like iterative approach to risk management as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it answered the question to me. I hope, John, you're happy as well. The next one, what are the biggest challenges in the insurance industry going forward?
Well, there are so many, but I would say first, the pandemic is not gone. Even if I'm in a lucky country, I'm in Portugal, so I'm in a lucky country that is getting better. But the pandemic will bring the challenges of the business we've lost, there's constraints in the vehicle sales. there's constraints on manufacturing cars. If you want to buy something electronic, the likelihood of that delaying is high. So all of that affects the economy where we operate. So that's one of the challenges we see, and it's not going to go away in our perspective in the coming months or year. It's going to take time, regardless of what the government say. That's what we feel. The second challenge is customers with this pandemic realize that there's a world out there digitally that they can do, and they were not leveraging it. So how do we, as a society, and therefore us as an insurance company, blend in? It's not about having places where people go online and buy a policy. That's not. Products and services have to be blended in the day-to-day of the customer. And how do we do that? With partnership. That's why the partnerships, the open concept that we're trying to create or enable, which is this idea that we all need each other and we should leverage each other in terms of, I do well this, so I'll be in that moment of the journey adding value, and the customer perceives that as a value. That's one side. And the other side, which for an insurance company is still a reality, that it's a fact, and we kind of embrace that, is we have partners, what we call intermediaries, that do the business for us. We need to bring them in a journey of digitalization, of being, digital savvy, to actually build that ecosystem with us. So those are the biggest challenges that the pandemic have shown us, that, you see, we've been saying that for so many years. Now it happened. And by the way, we all survived. Well, not all survived. That's not a good word, but most of us survived. So those are the main ones. Then there are others, which are the trends, the impact of the fact that we have to be sensible, environmental challenges, the consumption-based usage, not, kids don't want to buy a car, a house. So how do we prepare for that? And I have to say that this ecosystem, this modernization, was to also enable whatever that future is going to look like.